Hello, creative friends. This is Joy. This week I decided that I wanted to do another little cardboard journal, but I wanted to do one with a face. So I have this magazine image that I keep in my stashes and use as a mask. I covered it with some plastic so I could use it as a mask on projects, and I thought it had a nice profile that I could use to cut out the image of the face on the edge of these pieces of cardboard that are going to be the journal pages that I'm going to create for this little journal that I'm working on. And so my idea was to cut this face out of each one of these cardboard pieces, but each face would be or each page would be just a little bit shorter than the next. So when I did the next tracing of the image, I came in a little bit, as you saw me there, with about a quarter of an inch, and then traced the face and cut it out. It seemed to me like the best way to cut it out was the X-Acto knife. At first I tried to use the scissors, but that wasn't working, and so then the X-Acto knife seemed to work a little better. At least I was able to cut out the main image or the tracing of it, and then use the scissors to cut through the last part of it. But yeah, so I did that to each one of these panels that I was going to put in this journal. And I have 5 of them. I thought, 5 should be enough for this little journal. And then I, cleaned them up with any kind of rough edges with the little scissors and the X-Acto knife. And then I proceeded with decorating the panels. So here I have them all cut out, and I grabbed my black gesso and decided I wanted to paint them all with the black gesso and then go over top of it with fluorescent paints. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going through with a sponge. I guess I could have used a paintbrush, and I probably should have, because those sponges really soak up a lot of paint. But I decided to use a sponge to quickly get these panels covered with the black gesso. And then, like I said, I you can, these sponges are cheap enough. You can buy them, use them, toss them. But I always try to clean them out and get a couple uses out of them. I try to take care, of my supplies and as best as I can, so that, I'm not wasteful with them. But, so like I said, I probably would have been better off with a paintbrush. I wouldn't have used up so much black gesso with this brush soaking it up, because I didn't realize it till I went to clean it. How much it actually soaked up. And I did not do the back sides of these, but you'll see towards the end when I show a flip through, the back sides aren't done, but yeah, and you kind of see it there too. But I probably should have, and probably will go back and do the backs of them, and paint them black as well. So I decided to, I've done this on journal pages, and I thought it'd be a good idea to do it on this little journal as well, to use modeling paste through stencils on the panels, and then that way when I do the fluorescent paint, it'll color these the modeling paste that I put on. So I actually ended up using 2 different stencils. I used this little stencil that had some script writing on it. And then I used this other stencil with butterflies. I thought that would be pretty on these panels. So I use the modeling paste I'm using is just basic brand modeling paste. And I really like it because, excuse me, it dries rather quickly. Like by the time I was done doing, all 5 panels with the script, I was able to go back with the butterflies and start putting those on the panels. And here I had a little bit of seepage underneath, but I just used another knife there that I had and a stick to kind of clean up the edges. So it cleans up fairly easily and it dries quickly, and I especially like using it on journal pages because it ends up being flexible as well. It's not like so dry that it cracks on you. And so then here's where I pulled out my fluorescent paints and was just kind of going over, different areas of the panels with the different colors, just trying to, get some color on these panels. And I mean, I'm just not really giving it much thought, just trying to, get some color on these. And I do plan, I do end up going through all 6 colors that I have here in these little, cups. I do end up going through and putting a little bit of each color on these panels, and so they end up turning out pretty colorful. There you see how I've gone through and put a little bit of color on just about every panel, and here I'm finishing up with the purple. And then it seemed like that some of the butterflies were just, I don't know, a little too pristine, I guess you could say. So, and some of them were a little bit more, So here I was kind of just going over some of the butterflies, kind of, I don't know, make them a little, bit, just to add a little bit more to them. So that's what you see me doing here with the paint. So now that I've got the panels painted and they've dried, I went through my stash and found some words that I wanted to put on these panels, and I went through my Prima flowers and put together quite a few different Prima flowers. I usually stack 3 or 4 different ones, and then I'm using these Craft Bond glue sticks to stick the flowers down. So the first panel says life, and then the next one says live, and the next one says love, and the next one says laugh, and then the very last one says live in the moment. So I thought that was appropriate. And here I'm just measuring where I want my holes. So I measured like 1 inch from each end, and I'm using a little hand punch to punch that first panel, and then I use that panel to line up with the next and mark the holes on the next panel, and so on and so forth, and punch the holes until I get all of the holes punched in all of the panels. And then I end up, you'll see here in a minute, just using like some jump rings. I think that's what they're called. I think those are called jump rings, to put the little journal together. And yeah, you can see here I didn't really paint the backs of the panels, but I probably should have, and I probably will go back and paint them. I don't know. We'll see. So there I have the little journal all put together, and I grabbed my box of lace and ribbon and decided that I wanted to put some ribbon and lace on the jump rings to kind of decorate the jump rings up a little bit and to make it colorful. So I picked some of the colors like pinks and greens and blues and purples in different ribbons that I could put on the jump rings. So I measured out how long I wanted each one, or how long I wanted them, and then I used that first piece to measure out all the others to the same size. And of course I cut 2 pieces from each one so that I could put, one of each on each of the jump rings. And here I'm just tying them all on to the little journal to decorate the jump rings so that they're not just, plain. And I've done a couple of other little journals, and usually I'll put maybe 4 or 5. On this one I put a few more pieces of ribbon than I normally put, but I wanted all those colors in there since those were all the colors in the book, and I thought it was pretty. So here I'm doing just a little flip to show you each of the pages. That's pretty much the journal for today. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you like this video, please hit the like button, or you could subscribe to my channel, or you can leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. So that's the journal for today. Thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.